चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् पूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं कवितानवतारिणः श्रीमद्रामकथानाथं को न याति परां गतिं यः पिबन्ति सततं राम सागरम् अतृप्तस्तं मुनिं वन्दे प्राचेतसमकल्मषम् रामायण महामाला रत्नं वन्दे प्रतिलात्मजम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकीशोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् उल्लङ्घ्य सिन्धोः सलिलप्सगीतं यं शोकवह्निं जनकात्मजायाः आदाय तेनैव ददाह लङ्कां नमामि तं प्राञ्जलिराञ्जनेयम् आञ्जनेयमतिपाटलाननं काञ्चनाभिशमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततनूशासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतमस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमत राक्षसान्तकं मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि यः कर्णाञ्जलिसम्पुटे रहरः सम्यक् पिबत्यादरात् वाल्मीक्य वदनारविन्दचरितं रामायणाख्यं मधु जन्मव्याधिजरा विपत्तिमरणैः अत्यन्तसोपद्रवं संसारं स विहाय गच्छति पुमान् विष्णोः पदं शाश्वतं तदुपगतसमाससन्धियोगं सममधुरोपरतार्थवाक्यबद्धं रघुवरचरितं मुनिप्रणीतं शशिरषष्टमकं निशामयत्वं वाल्मीकिगिरि सम्भूता रामसागरगामिनी पुनातु भुवनभूम्या रामायण महानदी श्लोकसारसमाकीर्णं सर्गकल्लोलसंस्कृतं काण्डग्राहमहामीनं वन्दे रामायणानवं वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना वैदेही सहितं सुरद्रुमतले हैमे महामण्डपे मध्ये पुष्पकमासने मणिमये वीरासने सुस्थितम् अग्रे वातयति प्रभञ्जनसुते तत्त्वं मुनिभ्यः परं व्याख्यान्तं भरदादिभिः परिवृतं रामं भजेष्यामलं वामे भूमिसुता पुरश्च हनुमान् पश्चात् सुमित्रासुतः शत्रुघ्नो भरतश्च पार्श्वदलयोः वाय्वादिकोणेषु च सुग्रीवश्च विभीषणश्च युवराट् तारासुतो जाम्बवान् मध्ये नीलसरोजकोमलरुचिं रामं भजेष्यामलं नमोऽस्तु रामाय लक्ष्मणाय देवेशतस्ये जनकात्मजाये नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्र यमानिलेभ्यः नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः So we'll start this Upanyasam on a rather unusual note. So we know that two stories are called Itihasa, that is Ramayana and Mahabharata. Now Itihasa शब्दस्य किम् अर्थम्? इतिहास शब्दस्य द्वौ अर्थौ स्तः. एकः अर्थः इतिः आस, so it has been. That is one meaning of itihasa. That is whatever has happened in the past. But that meaning is so generic. It doesn't give anything. So I can also do something yesterday and then that can be called itihasa. And thinking about this, Vairagya Shatakam Shloke, एकः पंक्ति अस्ति. सारम्यानगरी महांस नृपतिः सामन्तचक्रं कृतत् पार्श्वे तस्य च साविदग्धपरिषत् राश्चन्द्रबिम्बाननाः उद्वृत्तस्य च राजपुत्रनिवहः ते बन्दिनः सा कथाः सर्वं यस्य वशादगा प्रतिपथं कालाय तस्मै नमः. In this shloka talks about one lovely city at some point in time. And that city had a Mahan Nrupatihi, a very powerful monarch, and it was a very well-run kingdom. And it had a lot of Rajaputra, it had a lot of princes. But then what happened is that eventually all of them got destroyed. It is destroyed in the sands of time. And And this sloka is a ode to time. Kalaya tasmai namaha. So many kings and so many cities and people have just been forgotten in the sands of time. Okay? All of these also can be called itihasa because it had been at that time. Why are these things not remembered and why are these things forgotten in the sands of time? But only two stories, which are Ramayana and Mahabharata, have survived the test of time and will continue to do so at least in the near future. So the answer to that is in the second meaning of the word itihasa. Dvitiya artha dharmartha kama mokshana upadesha samanvitam iti artha. So not only does it have to have something should have happened in the past, but it should also have been an upadesham for the four purusharthas, which are dharma, artha, kama and moksha. And the three purusharthas you get to see quite often. Right? So many kings would have been peak followers of dharma. So many kings would have been rich and wealthy. So many kings would have had wives and had good wives through which they could practice kama. Okay? So dharma, artha, kama are possible even in these other stories. But one thing is not possible in those stories, and that is moksha. And that is because moksha cannot be given out by humans and can only be given out by Bhagavan. Right? So itihasa, the shabda itihasa must, the story, any itihasa must have Bhagavan in it. And if it doesn't have Bhagavan in it, it cannot be called itihasa because of this meaning. Because it doesn't give a upadesham of moksha. And the idea of moksha is what we will be looking at in my Upanyasam towards the very end. But before that, you will have only the other three, not much of artha, but dharma and kama. And only towards the end, we will talk about moksha. Now, another thing which may want to talk about and probably think and make people think a little bit is that a lot of questions come in our mind. Itihasa has, so it has been. So is this entire story something which has been in the past? Did Rama exist in the past? Did Ravana exist in the past? So this question definitely comes to me, and it's something which we definitely think about. And I feel like the answer lies in thinking about Valmiki. So Valmiki Kavi Shrestha speak. So Valmiki is foremost among poets. But if it is just so it has been, so many other things have been, then Valmiki would be called as foremost among reporters. He would be called Barkhadan. Right? He will not be called foremost among poets. Why is he called the foremost among poets? And if you see the descriptions in the Ramayana, if it was just history, right? If it was just so it has been, then there is Samkshepa Ramayana which is done in less than within a few circles. Right? Samkshepa Ramayana within a few circles. That can be the entire story. Then you can have 3 sargas for gunas of Rama, 3 sargas of gunas of Lakshmana, 3 sargas of gunas of Sita. Done. Ramayana is over. If it is just so it has been. It is over for 10 sargas. Why are there so many? Right? So that is the question which begs to be answered, and that's why I feel that it is not just a reporting of what happened, but it is a play. It is a kind of playground where Valmiki has expressed his imagination, rather I should say impeccable imagination in so many ways. And in dance, there are what is known as Navarasaha. So these nine rasas are what are enacted by dancers. And all in my Upanyasam today, all of the 9 are going to come out in some way or the other. Okay, so I just list out the 9 and you can see at some point where they come out. The first one is Veera. Definitely is going to come out today when Rama kills 14,000 demons. Then Shringara, which is love, is going to come when during the time when Rama and Sita are together. Adbhuta, wonder, comes when Sita looks at the golden deer Maricha and stares at the deer with bewilderment. Rudra or fury comes again when Rama kills the 14,000 demons in anger, and also when Rama gets angry at the entire three worlds after Sita is kidnapped. Then Vrudanaka or shame. This is something which Surpanaka faces when her limbs, when her nose and ears are cut by Lakshmana. Bhibhatsa or disgust. This is felt when Rama thinks about Kaikeyi at the time when Sita is captured by the demon Viraha. Hasa, it also comes out in the story of Surpanaka. And Karuna, which comes out when Rama feels the compassion for Jaṭāyu. And Shanta, tranquility, of which there is very less in today's Upayasa because it is action packed, but it still comes out. Because all the 9 rasas are explored by Valmiki in such a nice way in just Aranyakanda. So that is the Mahatvam of Valmiki. So yesterday we left at the point where the Paduka Pattabhishekam was complete, and then Rama, Lakshmana and Sita met Atri and Anasuya, and Rama talks with Atri and Sita talks to Anasuya, and there is a detailed account of their marriage being discussed. And then Anasuya gives Sita saris and jewels, and Sita wore them throughout the exile. So it is not as if Sita came in a white color like ragged dress and wore nothing. She was actually wore quite a bit. You will see a lot of that reference coming later. And so after this, after the Paduka Pattabhishekam, Rama felt that there was too much publicity. Right? Too many people are going to come here now, since my location and my secret location has been revealed. So now you have to again go to honor the father, to honor Dasharatha's wish. You have to go somewhere else, and we'll have to be further in hiding. Pravishyatu maharanyam dandakaranyamaatmavan tadarsharamo durdharshah tapas ashrama mandalam. So इत्यर्थः आत्मवान् दुर्धर्षः अर्थात भयंकर और इनविंसिबल महारण्यम और दंडकारण्यम प्रविश्य तापसाश्रम मंडलम तदर्श. So he went into this Dandakaranyam and he saw all the group of ashramas of all these rishis. Lakshmiya samavrittam gagane pradiptam Surya Mandalam Yatha Tapasashrama Samukha Asri. Then the Ashrama Mandalaka Brahma Vidhi Brahmanehi Upashobhitam, glowed by the penance or the karma of the Brahmanas. And so after receiving hospitality from the sages, Rama and Sita and Lakshmana, they went further deep into the forest. Sitaya Saha Kakusthaha Vane. After going deep into the forest, in that forest, Vane Parvata Shikhara Samanam Mahasvanam Narabhakshakam Dadarsha. He saw someone who is equivalent to the peak of a huge mountain. He made a heavy sound, Mahasvanam, and he was a cannibal, Narabhakshakam Dadarsha. Gambhiraksham Mahavakram Vikatam Vishamodaram Bibhatsam Vishamam Dirgham Vigritam Ghora Darshanam. So he was of a dreadful appearance. Vishamodaram, huge belly. Bibhatsam, we just saw the disgusting, right? Such a disgusting character. Right? Vikritam, ugly. So all these the qualities of this person. Ramam Lakshmanam cha Sitam Drishtva Saha Tan Prati Athavat. So this disgusting man started running towards Sita. Tataha Saha Medinin Chalayan Iva Bhairavam Nadam Krutva Vaidehim Ankena Adaya. Making a very fierce noise, he just picked up Vaidehi and placed him on Ankena Adaya, on his lap. Right? So Anga Bhashayam Deja Vu iti Jnayate. So it was going to happen sometime in the future, but it has already happened now. Okay. Saha Uttavan Saha Rakshasaha Uttavan Aham Varna Medam Durgam Viradho Nama Rakshasaha Chara Misali Bho Nityam Rishimam Sani Pakshayan Aham Viradho Nama is a demon named Viradha. And so Rishi Mamsani Bhakshayan. So I eat all the flesh of all these rishis. Raghavaha Sitam Drishtva. After seeing Sita on the lap, Sitam Drishtva, Lakshmanam Vakyam Abravit. Yada Vipretamasmasu Priyam Varadatam Sayate Kaike Yaku Samvritam Shipramadhyaiva Lakshmana Yana Tushyati Rajena Uttarthe Dirghadarshini Yayaham Sarvabhutana Priyapprasthabito Vanam Adhyedani Sakama Sayamata Madhyamamama. Okay, so this is where Kaike Yakusa Samvritam. So he says that after seeing Sita being carried away, he says, okay, Kaikeyi is this Dirghadarshini, is such a far-sighted woman. She is, whatever she desired through her boons have all come true. And now I have lost my wife, I have lost my kingdom, and I have reached this situation. So this is probably the first time where Rama thinks about Kaikeyi in some sort of with disgust basically, and she just basically was sarcastic towards her when he called her Dirghadarshini. Tada Lakshmanaha Viradham Kaha Bhavan Ramayana Kaha Bhavan iti Prishtavan. So he asked, who are you? Viradha Uvacha. Viradha says, Putra Kilatayashyaham Mata Mama Shatakrada Viradha iti Mama Guru Prithivyam Sarva Rakshasaha Tapasacha Abhisamprapta Brahmano ki Prasadaja Shastre Navadhyata Loke Chedya Bhedyat Navevacha. So he was bestowed by Brahma with a boon that no weapon can kill him. Right? So that's what he says. And he also says his mother is Shaktakrada, and everyone calls Viradaha, the Rakshasa. Everyone calls him Virada. Tatah Viradha Uttavan Abhishapadaham Ghora Vishto Rakshasitanum Tumpur. Eta Shutva Ramaha Kopa Samrakta Lochanaha. After hearing the story of Viradha, the fact that he cannot be killed by any weapons, Viradha Sunishitan Sharan, that is sharp arrows, Nijakhana. He released sharp arrows towards Viradha. Te Pavakopamaha Viradhasya Shariram Shutva Karanyam Vipetuku. Those fire-like arrows, after piercing his body, fell on the ground. But clearly he cannot be killed by weapons. And so after that he again picked up Rama, Lakshmana, left out Sita, and then he picks them up and tries to eat them. Right? Tatah Viradha Uttavan. Okay, so now this Viradha can't be killed by weapons, and he needs to be somehow killed in some other way. So what Rama and Lakshmana try to do is that they try to they first cut off his limbs so that he cannot really move, and then they have to bury him into a pit, and that's the only way in which he can be killed, because he can't be killed by weapon. He has to just be killed by the Rama Lakshmana overpowering them. And so after that, when he is finally thus killed, he says, Abhishapadaham Ghoram Ravishto Rakshasintanum Tumburu Nama Gandharvaha Sapto Vaishravanenah. So he's actually not a Rakshasa, but he was Tumburu by name. And he was a celestial Gandharva, and he was cursed by Kubera. That's why he became a Rakshasa. And the only way he could die was to be buried in a pit. So after Rama did that, Mahabalaha Viradha Tarapiditaha Swarga Praptaha Babuva. So he reached Swarga. After this, Rama goes back to the forest, and we have Tat goes back to the Ashrama Samuha, which was there. So Tat Ashrama Gane Stitaha Dharmajnaha Rishi Sankhaha Samahitaha. So they are assembled, and they spoke to Rama, who was Dharma Bhadrapanam, Parama Dharmajnam, Ramam Puchuhu. They said, Tvam Ikshvaku Kulasyasya Prithivyaśta Maharatha Pradhanaschami Tathascha Devanam Makhavaniva. So you are the ruler of the entire earth, and you are like Indra. Maghavan is Indra. Makhavaniva. And they continue to say, Soyam Brahmana Bhuyishto Vanaprasthagano Mahan Tvannath Vonathavadrama Rakshasirvadhyate Bhrisham Yehi Pashya Sharirani Munina Bhavitatmanam Hatanam Rakshasir Ghorehi Bahunam Bahudhavane. And so on. So they say that all these Brahmins, right, they are all leading a Vanaprastha life, Vanaprastha Ganaha, and they are all Rakshasai, they are all killed by the demons, Rakshasai, Anathavat, like they are killed like orphans. And all these, and then he calls Rama to come and see these, the bodies of all these ascetics, who were all killed by Rakshasas. And then Tataha, He Rama, Samupasthitan Brahmanan, Nishacharaihi, Madhyamanan, Paripalaya. O Rama, please protect us, protect these us Brahmins from all these Nishacharaihi or Rakshasa, set of Rakshasas, from being killed. Tapasanam tapasvinam etat shutva dharmatma kakutstha sarvaneva tapasvinah idam provacha. Pitustu nirdeshakarah pravishtohamidam vanam viprakaram apakrishtum rakshase bhavatamimam pitustu nirdeshakarah pravishtohamidam vanam. So I came into this forest in obedience to my father's orders and to repel the aggression of demons against you. And so he said that is the dude, that is why I have come here. And bhavata amartha siddhyartam agatoham vidruchaya tasya meyam vane vaso bhavishyati mahaphalah. So mahaphalah bhavishyati. So this stay of mine will yield great fruits. तत्पश्चात सीता भर्तारं रघुनंदनं इदम अब्रवीत् त्रीण्ये व्यसनान् यत्र कामजानि भवन्त्युत मिथ्यावाक्यं परमकं तस्मात् गुरुतरावृतो परदाराभिगमनं विना वैरं च रौद्रता. Okay, so now Sita tries to caution Rama, right, after he gives this boon, saying, well, I mean, you have to, she gives this following caution, right? So there are three kinds of vices, right? So one is kamajani, born out of lust. The second one is mithya vakyam, speaking untruth. The third one is vina vairam rudrata, without any enmity you show violence. So why does she talk about this? Right? Kimartham sayava yuktavati. So Ramaha satyarupaha, Ramaha mithya vakyam na vadati, Ramaha paresham strinam abhilashanam na karoti iti spashtam. Parantu Sita vadati raudram parapranabhihimsanam mohat kriyate tat tritiyam te asti. So the first two clearly is not there in Rama, but the third one, right, which is vina vairam raudrata, could be born in Rama. And there's a backstory to this. So Savadati Pura Kasminchit Vane Suchihi Tapasvi Abhavat. So they lived a pure Tapasvi in a similar forest like this. Atha Sachipatihi Indraha Tasyaiva Tapasaha Vikhyam Kartum Phatarupadhrit Khadgapani Ashramam Agachat. He brought a sword. Indra brought a sword to that particular Rishi's ashram. Tada tasmin ashrame punye saha khadga dattaha. He gave that sword to the ashram, to the Rishi there. Then nityam shastram parivahan saha tapodanaha tapasi nischayam tyatva kramena swam buddhim raudrin chakara. And he developed, because swam buddhim, he left all his tapasya, and raudram started coming into his mind, because he was holding that, trying to protect that sword, and only that was in his mind. Saha munihi pasye raudre adharma karshitaha narakam jagama. He did all adharma and went to the narakam. Punaha tvam ayodhyam gatva kshatta dharma sarishyasi. Go back to Ayodhya and resume your kshatta dharma. Don't do it here. एतत् वाक्यं श्रुत्वा रामः मैथिलीं प्रति उवाच अहं दण्डकारण्ये ऋषीणां परिपालनं संस्कृतं सीते अहं जीवितमपि सलक्ष्मणां त्वां वा जह्यामि. So I will forsake even you or Lakshmana, परन्तु प्रतिज्ञा विशेषतः ब्राह्मणेभ्यः संस्कृत्य न जह्यामि. After promising to Brahmins, specifically to Brahmins, I cannot forsake the promise. And this is how Rama was someone who kept his word. So Mahatma Ramah Maithilim ityevam vachanam ukva dhanushman with the dhanuhu Lakshmanena saha tapovanani jagama. Now what do we make out of this story? So this story can be considered as what is known as sthuna nighanana nyayam. So it is not, Sita never intended to tell Rama that you should not protect the sages. She was the one who asked her to protect the sages in the first place. Right? But she just wanted to test Rama's resolve by putting such a scenario and just testing whether Rama was actually steadfast in his promises or not. And that is what this particular part kind of conveys. And now after that they go into the forest further with their weapons. And how did they go? Right? Katham drishyate. So there is one shloka. Agratah prayayo Rama Sita madhye sumadhyama prishtatastu dhanushpanihi Lakshmi anujagama Lakshmanaha anujagama. So this is the shloka. And Agratah prayayo, so in the front walk Rama, in the middle walk Sita, who was of a beautiful waist, Sumadhyama, and Prishtatastu Dhanushpanihi. In the back there was Lakshmana, who was also carrying a Dhanushpanihi and in his hand, and they all walk. And this why is this kind of thing even mentioned? Right? So first thing is that the word ha comes, which means that something is happening, okay? Something is going to churn. And it also probably means that it's an important verse. But one interpretation is that, it could be a reference to the three sounds in Om, the three sounds in Pranam, which is Akara, Ukara and Makara. And in this sloka also it gets put very nicely. Agrata Prayayo. So Agrata is Akara. Then Ukara is Sita Madhye Sumadhyama. The Ukara comes in Sumadhyama. It is Lakshmana. So Ma in Lakshmana, Makara. So this is equal. This is as if this is equal, and it shows the existence of Pranam. And another modern day reference to that is in a temple in Sri Puttur. And the main deity is Rangamanar, and there is also Andal and Garuda. So these three are considered equivalent to Pranava in a similar spirit to this sloka. Okay. So Tatah Raghavanutah Saha Lakshmanah Agastya Ashrama Padam Gatah. So they all went to Agastya's ashrama, but before that they also visited the ashramas of Sharabhanga and Sutishna and the brother of Agastya or Agastya Bhrata. And finally they reached Agastya Ashrama Padam Gatah. Ramam Drishtva Agastya Ramam Prati Uvacha Sarvasya Lokasya Raja Dharmachari Maharatah Pujaniyah Manyah Prayatitihi Bhavan Te Purusha Vyagha Tiger among men Divyam Mahat Idam Chapam Vaishnavam Vishwakarmana Nirmittam Surya Sankashaha Amokhaha Sarottamaha Akshaya Sayako Pavakaihi Iva Panehi. So it is he shows a bow belonging to Vishnu, Vaishnavam, designed by Vishwakarma, and it is Amokha. It does not have any flaws. Sarottamaha. So it is the foremost among Sharaha. Akshaya Sayako, inexhaustible. Akshaya Padam, it's like Akshaya Padam, inexhaustible arrows. and he says that Mama Mahendrena Dattau. So Indra gave me this particular bow. He Manada Tad Dhanuhu Swikarodu. Agastya Evam Utva Tad Varayudham Ramaya Dattavan. Tataha Ramaha Satyavadinam Vikram Rishi Satkritya paid respects. Amantriyamasa. He took leave after paying respects and getting the bow. Sitaya Saha Tad Ashrama Panchavitim Jagmatuhu. So after leaving Agastya's ashrama, they went to Panchavati. Panchavati Gatva Saumitri, this is Lakshmana, Saumitri Amravi. He Saumya Pushpitaihi Tarubhihi Vritaha Ayam Deshe. Iha Ashrama Padam Kartum Adhasi. Let us all make an ashrama here. This place surrounded by flowers and trees. Tataha Valmiki Tasmin Deshe Vanyajivanam Varnanam Kritavan. So Valmiki takes this opportunity to describe all the kinds of trees in that forest. So all these are the Salaihi, Talaihi, Tamalaihi. So Salai is the sal tree, Talaihi is the palmyra, Tamala is another tree, Khajura is a date, then Panasa which is jackfruit, Amrakaihi mango, Nivaraihi paddy, Timishaihi, another tree called as Timisha which does not let the light pass through, Punnagaihi. So all these trees, the forest kind of was lit up by all these trees, Upashobhitaha. And there were so many other trees, Ashokaihi, Tilakaihi, Champakaihi, Avrataha, Tatha Avrataha. The forest was covered with all these trees. So not only is this tells us that the Ramayana is not only something to just teach us about God or anything like that, but it also gives you an important source for information about geography and ecology. Right? What are all the trees which existed there at that time? Do they still exist now? And it also gives us a message to protect these trees, protect our forests, and make sure that we safeguard all these trees which are mentioned as a part of our itihasas. And another important thing which this region which I wish to establish through this particular segment is that our civilization, right, was not based on the people or was not based on anything of that sort. It was clearly something based on geography, and geography is something which a lot of people understate. They don't really talk about it when they talk about Bharata or India. And in this itihasa, we see that geography is given a lot of importance. Every other place you talk, there is a mention of ecology, there is a mention of animals, and it kind of tells us that we should know our geography well. We should know our rivers, we should know our forests, we should know the kinds of trees which are there in our country, and that is a source of pride for us. Because what is a country and what is a civilization without a geography? It means absolutely nothing. Unless you are aware and you are proud of your geography and you seek to protect it, there is no point of fighting for any Hindu Rashtra or any civilizational idea if you don't protect our geography and if you are not aware of the geography. That is something which I wanted to specify clearly in this segment. Then Lakshmana had to build a small ashrama. So Tatha Bhratuhu Lakshmana Ramya Raghavasyaarthe Anuttamam Nivasam Chakara. Raghava Lakshmanam Kritam Saumyam Ashramam Sitaya Saha Drishtva Parnashalayam Samtushtaha. So he was extremely happy after seeing the ashrama which was built by Lakshmana. Sada Susamkrushta Lakshmanam Bahubhyam Gadham, after having hugged him tightly, Gadham Alingya Atisnigdham Machanam Abravit, very sweet words he said, right, which is Bhavagyena Kritagyena Dharmagyena Cha Lakshmana Tvaya Putrena Dharmatma Rasamritta Pitamama. It's a Bhavagyena, knower of Bhava, Kritagnya, grateful, Dharmagnya, knower of Dharma. So by the deeds you have done, na samritta pitamama. So my father is not dead. So what does this really mean? And so this just means that Lakshmana took care of Rama the same way as Dasharatha did. And Lakshmana was almost like a father figure in this particular journey through the forest. And that is why Rama praises him so highly and says that because of you, because of your actions, it doesn't feel like my father is dead at all. It feels like he is still alive in your form. That is how we should interpret this sloka. Dharmatma saha Ramah Sitaya saha Swargaloke Amaraha Iva Kinchit Kalam Yavasat. Yadrichaya Kachit, okay, for some time they lived there. Yadrichaya Kachit Rakshasi Tam Desham Ajagamna. Rakshasah Dashagrivasya Bhagini Surpanakha Namni Ramam Dadarsha. So the sister of Dashagriva or Ravana saw Rama there. And in this at this point, this is the only Kamba Ramana reference I have, unfortunately. But Kamba beautifully describes the way Surpanakha approached Rama. And please excuse me if I mess up my Tamil, but okay. Panji only ring. Okay, so there is a gate here, right? So unlike in Sanskrit, where there's just meter and you have to here there is actually a gate and there's rhythm to it. Right? So Panji, so it's like some sort of Khandanare. So Panji only rinju kuli pallavamanunga Senjeviya Panjamiga Chiradialagi Anjolila Manjay Yena Anmay Yena Minnu Vanji Yena Nanjam Yena Vanjamagal. So it's like the kind of describes the gate, right? So it's like he is coming in some sort of fast pace, relatively fast. And there is it also says that kind of gives you an indication that Surpanakha doesn't have natural beauty, right? She is trying to act beautifully. She is trying to be beautiful. So it is equivalent to modern day actresses putting makeup. Right? They are not actually beautiful, but they are putting makeup and they are coming. It's similar to that basically. So he says that it's sarcastic, I think, completely sarcastic. With the softness that would even put wisps of cotton and delicate petals to shame. So he is trying so hard to be beautiful and come, but she is just not naturally gifted, right? Unfortunately. So the feet can be compared to blossomed lotuses. All this I think is sarcasm in Kambar. The gaze of a young peacock or a swan with a thin curvy structure like a jasmine creeper. Then finally Kambar nails it with poison in her heart. And all this is just show off. What you have inside is poison. And the devious Surpanakha came before Rama. This is how Kambar describes it. And there are further bangers in Valmiki Ramayana itself. So these slokas are given. And they try to compare how Rama was and how Surpanakha was. Right, so we'll go one by one and it is extremely hilarious. So Sumukham. So I'll just read the sloka and then you'll understand. Sumukham Durmukhi Ramam Vrittamadhyam Mahodari Vishalaksham Virupakshi Sukesham Tamram Murthaja. So Sumukham is a beautiful face. Durmukhi, ugly. Okay. The Vrittamadhyam. Vrittamadhyam is, I think, he was fit. Vrittamadhyam is a normal base. Someone who's handsome. Mahodari, fat woman. Vishalaksham. So he had large eyes. Vishalaksham. Virupakshi. She had, her eyes were deformed. Virupakshi. Some people are still named Virupaksha. I don't know why, but I use what it is. Sukesham, beautiful hair. Tamra Murthaja. So she had hair like Tamra. Tamra means copper. Right? So yesterday when I was chatting with my friends in the group, so someone put an emoji with that woman emoji. Right? So she had similar hair compared to Tamra Murthaja. So it's yellow color hair. Then Preeti Rupam Virupasa Suswaram Bhairavaswara Tarunam Davaruna Vruddha Dakshinam Vama Pashini. So Preeti Rupa is loving. Virupa, ugly. Suswaram, so he speaks, he has a good voice. Bhairava Swara, they have a very bad voice, like most Carnatic musicians today. Tarunam Daruna Vritha, Dakshinam Mamabhashini. So why is this Dakshinam Mamabhashini is also interesting. Dakshinam means it is considered right. So again a very political reference, but Rama is right wing, right? And Mamabhashini means left. So Surpanakha is equivalent to a modern day leftist. Okay, so this is what Valmiki says. Nyaya Vrittam Sudhigritta Priyam Apriya Darshana. So Nyaya Vrittam is Nyayam, he follows truth. Sudhigritta, she doesn't follow anything like that. Then Priyam, so he is loved by people. Apriya Darshana, she looked ugly, right? Apriya, you can't see her. Sarira Jasamavishta Rakshasi Vakyam Abravit. So see, all this comparison is given by Valmiki. It is a prelude to what is going to come next. Right? So Rama and Lakshmana are basically going to play with her. So now after seeing this such a Rama, she became she was overcome by lust. So Surpanakha Kama Vishta Ramam Idam Vakyam Abravit. Tvam Jati Sabhayah Sarachapa Dhrit Tapasa Rupena Rakshasa Sevitam Imam Desham Katham Agatah. Why are you with a Jata? Why did you come to this place where this Rakshasas are the people who rule? Right? Ramaha Bravid. Okay, so now he asks, basically she asks him, who are you and why have you come here? Right? So usually what people will do if you are a big shot, you will call your assistant and say that you take care of this person, I will just not do anything. But Valmiki says that, well, Rama is actually a simpleton. Right? So, one more controversial thing is that if any woman asks him to introduce himself, he will do it. So that is also mentioned. And the way he does it is this. Asi Dasharatho Nama Raja Tridasha Vikramah Tasyaham Agrajah Putro Ramo Namadane Shrutah Bhratayam Lakshmano Nama Yaviyan Mamanugrataha Yam Bharya Cha Vaidehi Mamasiteti Vishruta. So he gives an introduction of this form. So there was a Asi Dasharatho Nama. There was a mighty there was a mighty king called Dasharatha. I am his eldest son. And Bhratayam Lakshmano Nama. I have a brother called as Lakshmana. Iyam Bharyacha Vaidehi. My wife is Vaidehi. She is well known. Vishruta, well known as Sita. This is the introduction he gives. And then he also asks Surpanakha. Tvam tu veditum ichhami kasya tvam kasi kasya va tvam hi tavan manojnyangi rakshasi pratibhasine. So he now plays with Surpanakha, right? He says tvam veditum, I want to know who you are, right? But you are manojnyangi, a woman of beautiful limbs. Rakshasi, so may rakshasi na pratibhasi, do not seem to be a rakshasa to me, rakshasi to me. But who are you? That's what he asks her. And he says, Tatah sa rakshasi abravit Kha nama kamarupini rakshasi Veeraha Ravano nama Shata. Then she continues to express her lust to Rama. Ana Hamsabatikranta Ramat Vapurvadarsanat Samupetasti Bhavena Hartaram Purushottamam. So I live with some Rakshasas, all of them I put aside. I came here as soon as I saw you. Then you are Purushottama, finest among men. Then Aham Prabhava Sampanna, Swachanda Balagamini, Chiraya Bhava Sita Yakim Karishyasi. It's I am influencer, Prabhava Sampanna. Then what will you do? With Sita, what are you going to do? Kim Karishyasi. What will you do with this stupid woman? Right? That's what she asks. Tatah Ramah Surpanakam Smita Purvam Abravit with a smile. Smita Purvam Abravit Bhavati Kritadaraha Asmi Iyam Mama Daita Bharya. So I'm a person who is already married. Tvad Vidhanam Narina Sasapatna Sadukha. So if you are a co-wife, Sapatna will be a very painful experience. You have to be my co-wife. Lakshmano naam me bhrata Sheela Darshanah. He is also, my brother is also very good looking and he is single. Right? Sahate rupasya anurupah bharta bhavishyati. So he is equivalent to you. Hey Vishalakshi. He calls Surpanaka, whose eyes are deformed, as Vishalakshi. Mama Bhrataram Asapatna. He has no, my brother has no wife. Bhaja, serve him, go serve him, leave me alone. You go and he is anyway single, now you can so, yeah. So this is the opposite of what happens in IIT campus. And so, okay. So then Rama and Lakshmana keep doing this game and they keep sending Surpanaka back and forth. And she is filled with lust towards both of them and they keep playfully sending her between them. The Lakshmana says, you go back to Rama and I am not worthy of you. Rama says, I already have a wife here, you will be very sad if you go to this better way. So they make fun of her. And after that she realized that the Sita, this woman, right, this is the one woman who is causing the problem. It's like Mamiya in the house, right? She is the one who is causing the problem. Okay. Then this famous shloka comes. Adye mamhaksha pashyatastavamanushim Vaya sahacharishyami istapatna yatha sukham. Now she realized the root of the problem. Right? Now I go eat her. Adye mamhaksha pashyatastavamanushim Vaya. So we all can roam around Nistapatna without any co-wife. Because I will eat her up and I will kill her. This is what she threatens. Then she goes and picks Sita up and attempts to eat her. Vaidehim drishtva mahabalaha ramaha kupitaha lakshmana pravit he purusha vyaghra virupam asatim, which is unchaste, atimattam, which is filled with kama, mahodarim, big stomach, imam rakshasi, virupa itu madhasi, so make her disfigured, virupa itu madhasi. इति श्रुत्वा लक्ष्मणः क्रुद्धः with anger रामस्य पार्श्वतः खड्गम् उद्धृत्य तस्याः कर्णनासं विच्छेद. So she with anger he cut off her nose and ears. घोरासा शूर्पणखा विस्वरं विनद्य with a hoarse loud noise यथागतं वनं, from wherever she came, pradudrava. So she went back from wherever she ran towards wherever she came. ततः सा विरूपिता जनस्थानगतं खरम् उपेत्य just went to Khara and fell flat. तथा पतितां विरूपां भगिनीं दृष्ट्वा राक्षसः खरः क्रोधसन्ताप्तः पप्रच्छ केन एवं रूपं विरूपिता व्यक्तं मया रणे केन निहतः. Who is this idiot who disfigured you? I will go kill that, right? Maya in the battlefield, I will just kill him. And now so then tatah aham ranamurdhami anujuvrittayaha of that crooked woman, right? So this is okay. So in the battlefield of that crooked woman, tasya cha hatayoho tayoho saphenam rudhiram patum ichhami. So I will kill Rama and Lakshmana and bring them. I want their foamy blood, like saphenam rudhiram patum ichhami. She wants to drink their foamy blood. Tasyam iti bruvanaayam kharah kruddhah yaman, like yama chaturtasha rakshasan Rama Lakshmano hatva tesham rudhiram apavartitum iti vyaditesha. Sriman Raghavah Ramah Akatan Rakshasan drishtva Deeptatejasam Bhrataram Lakshmanam Abravit Aham Iha Agatan Adhishyami Saumitre Kinchit Kalam Yavat Sitaya Saha Tishtatu. Just go stand there by the side. I will take care of these people. Tataha Raghavah Dhanu Gritva Rakshasan Dishya Indravajran Iva Bana Numocha. Like a thunderbolt, he released these arrows. Deeptaha Swarna Vibhushitaha Te Banaha. They glowed like golden, they glowed like gold. Vegat Rakshasam Vakshamsi Bhitva Rudhiraprutaha Te Rakshasaha Drumaha Iva Bhumau Nipetuhu. After being hit by these arrows, those Rakshasas fell like trees. Bhumau Nipetuhu. द्रुमाः इव भूमौ निपेतुः भूमौ पतितान् दृष्ट्वा राक्षसी पुनः खरम् उपगम्य पपात शूर्पणखाम् एतद् दृष्ट्वा खरः भूषणं नाम सेनापतिम् अब्रवीत् रणेषु अनिवर्तिनां 14,000 रक्षसां सर्वेद्योगं कारय. So get now 14,000. 14 have been destroyed. Now get 14,000. खरः यमः यथा महाबलः मेघः इव घनं सारथिम् अचूचुदत्. He was like Yama and he ordered his chariot to proceed towards Rama. खरः आश्रमम् आगम्य क्रुद्धं ददर्श. So he saw a very angry looking Rama. ततः खरः समरे रामम् अर्दयित्वा महानादं ननाद. ततः सर्वे निशाचराः रामं नानाविधैः शस्त्रैः वर्षन्त. All the Rakshasas rained arrows on Rama. ते राक्षसां गणाः रामे वर्षमाणाः मेघाः धाराभिः शैलेन्द्रमिव शरवर्षाणि विसृजन्. It rained like a downpour. Right? So it was like dark clouds raining. It was like that. The arrows were raining on Rama in such a fashion. Parantu Ramah Mahachala iva na vidyathe. It was not hurt. Tatah Ramah Shatah Sahasrasah Panan Sasarja. He released now hundreds and thousands of arrows. And it was as if it was like he was doing it in a playful fashion. Ramena Leelaya Shatru Sainyeshu Saraha Rakshasam Pranan Adaduhu. It was just like a play for Rama, but all those bows pulled out the lives of the Rakshasas. And in such a fashion, he totally destroyed all the 14,000 Rakshasas in 1.5 muhurtas. So one muhurta is 48 minutes, if I am not mistaken. So in 1.5 muhurtas, he destroyed all the 14,000 Rakshasas. And subsequently, he also killed the general Trishiras in a ferocious battle. Mahatejaha Yamaha Karam Parusham Vakyam Abravit. So after having done all this, he says this harsh words to Kara. Gajashvaratha Sambhage Pale Mahati Tishtaka Shrutam Sudarunam Karma Satvaloka Jugupsitam Udvedaniyo Bhutanam Prashamsah Papa Karma Krite Trayanam Api Lokanam Ishwaropina Tishtati. So what he says is that Trayanam Lokanam Ishwaropi. So even if he is the Lord of all the three worlds, Papa Karma Krite na Tishtati. If he does Papa, he will not survive. So this is the ultimatum given. Whoever big shot you are, if you do Papam, you will not survive. Somebody will come and kill you. That is what he says. That is what the ultimatum he gives to Khara. Etatutva Raghavah Kharam Gadan Bane ki Bhitva Smayamanaha. He just destroyed the Gada of Khara and then he just smiled. Smayamanaha. Nichasya Mithyavrittasya Rakshasah Aham Garutman Amritam Yatha Pranan Harishami. I will take away your life just as how Garuda went and stole the Amrita. I will steal your life. Mithyavrittaha means false pride. So Nichaha. All these are all nice swear words. They use it. Mithyavrittaha. Use all this to people, right? Instead of your usual ones. Samyuge Ramena Badaihi Vikvanaha Mattaha, intoxicated, another swear word. Rudhira Gandhena. So what happened was that Rama fired a lot of arrows at this Khara and intoxicated by that blood. The Rudhira Gandhena Mattaha Ramameva Drutam. So he ran Drutam Abhyadravat. So he ran speedily towards Rama. And now, looking at the speed at which this Khara was approaching him, he moved. Rama had to fire another arrow at him. So since he was approaching so fast, Rama took one step back. And some people view it as a sign of cowardice, that in a battlefield you should not take any step back. But Rama was a practical person. He had to kill this guy, right? So he was not someone who was like always going to. At this time, life is at stake. Although he did other things before, but now life is at stake. So he took a step back and released an arrow. and then Khara completely collapsed. And after seeing that, Tataha, Sarve Rajarshyaha, Paramarshayah, Sangata Mudita, Ramam Apujayan. They all the Raja Rishis and Parama Rishis in a group, all of them praised Rama for doing this act. And now there is one sloka and not sloka, so one part of Raghuvira Gavyam which explains this entire thing very nicely. Trishira Siras Tritaya Timira Nirasa Vasarakara. So Trishiraha, so he first killed the demon Trishiraha. Timira Nirasa Vasarakara. So basically that means the way you kill Trishira, who is equivalent to darkness. Right? So the way you kill Trishira is equivalent to how the sun destroys Vasara is sun, destroys the darkness. Timira Nirasa Vasarakara. Dushana Shoshana Toshita, Rishigana Goshita, Vijaya Goshana. So Dushana Jalanidhi Shoshana. So it is like Jalanidhi Eva Dushana. So like an ocean was like an ocean. And Rama dried up that ocean. So Shoshana means make parched, make the throat parched, like how my throat is right now. And Rama did that, the Jalanidhi Shoshana, like how the ocean dried up, Rama. Okay. So Rishi Gana Ghoshita. So after seeing that, Rishi Gana, the group of Rishis, Vijaya Ghoshana, they sang his praises. Kharataru Khandana Chanda Pavana. So Khara Taru. So Taru is a large tree. Right? So Khara was like a large tree. You uprooted him. So the Khandana, so completely uprooted that tree. Like a cyclonic wind, right? Like how Varda Puyal did to all of the trees in Chennai. Rama did to Khara. And then Asahaya Shura. So without any help, you are able to do all this, right? You don't need any help. Anapaya Sahasa. Mahita Mahamrutha Darshana Mudita Maithili Dridhatara Parigamphana. So it is like so after seeing Rama in this bloodied form, after this Mahamrutha great battle, Maithili Dridhatara Parigamphana. Maithili just came and hugged him. This is all which is explained here. And Tataha Shashi Prabhanana Janakatmaja Rakshasa Sangha Mardanam Ramam Parishvatya. So she embraced the Rama who was Rakshasa Sangha Mardana. He killed all the Rakshasas. Tada Krishna Madhuva. She became very happy. And now there is another connection of this part here, where before when going to Vanavasa, Rama initially did not want Sita to come, and Sita says that well, if you don't let me come, then my father will think that you are a woman in the guise of a man, right? But now he had this opportunity to prove her wrong, and that he was actually the man, right? So that is the connection to the previous part. Now somehow, right, one Rakshasa called Ampana, and he escapes somehow, and then Surpanakha also escapes because Rama doesn't kill him, since he is a good person. And so all these people go to Ravana because all these 40,000 people have been killed, and Khara, Dushana and Shiras have all been killed. And after going to Ravana, Ravana asks this, Ramaha kaha, who is he? Katham viryaha, kim rupaha, kim parakramaha, dandakaryam kimartham pravishtaha, Ravasya ayudham kim, rakshasendrena iti. Okay, so all these questions he asks, a bunch of barrage of questions he asks to Surpanakha. Rakshasendrena iti uktva, Rakshasi, Surpanakha, Ramam yatha tattvam, Akhyatum Upachakrame. So she started describing the qualities of Rama. So now it will be a long list of slokas, but the reason why I have chosen this is that you are best described by your enemy. So these descriptions are something which even his friends did not give, but his enemies have given. So it starts here. Dirgha Bahu Vishalaksha Chira Krishnajinambarah Kandarpa Samarupascha Ramo Dasharathatmaja. This Dirgha Bahu, long armed, Vishalaksha, large eyed, Chira Krishnajinambarah, clad in deer skin and bark. Kandarpa Samarupaha, he resembled Manmatha. This was a description of Rama. Then Shakra chapa nibham chapam vikrishya kanakangadam deeptan kshipati narachan sarpaniva mahavishan. And the arrows are being described, right? Shakra chapa nibham, so he has a bow like Indra's. Kanakangadam, gold armlets. He draws highly poisonous. Mahavishan, Sarpaniva, snake-like deeptan, glittering arrows. Such a description is given for these arrows. And he releases them. Rakshasam Bhima Rupanam Sahasrani Chaturdasha Nihatani Sharais Tikshnehi Tenaikena Padatina Ardha Dikamuhurtena Kharascha Sahadushanah, fighting alone. Right? So Padatina means on foot. Ekena alone. He, with his sharp arrows, he killed Khara and Dushana within a span of 1.5 muhurtas. So he killed 14,000 in just 48 plus 24. Okay, so that is 72 minutes. You can imagine the rate at which the Rakshasas died. So that was some incredible rate. Chata Chasya Mahateja Udatastulya Vikramaha Anuraktascha Bhuktascha Lakshmano Nama Viryaman. So Mahatejaha, Lakshmana is being described as radiant. Mahatejaha Gunataha is filled with gunas. Tulya Vikramaha is equal to Rama in courage. Anuraktaha, very loyal. Bhaktaha is a Rama Bhakta. Viryavan, valiant. Lakshmano Nama Asya Bhrata. So such a very flattering description is given of Lakshmana. It is entirely true, but it is given by the enemy. Amarshi Durjayo Jeta Vikranto Buddhiman Bali Ramasya Takshino Bahuhu Nityam Prano Bahishcharaha. So Lakshmana is Durjaya, invincible, victorious, Jeta, very bold, Vikrantaha, Buddhiman, Bali, Nityam, okay, and then always stands by Rama. Nityam Ramasya Dakshina Bahuhu, always his right hand. And that is a description of Lakshmana. Then comes a description of Sita. Ramasya tu Vishalakshi, Purnen tu Sadrishanana, Dharma Patni Priya Bhartuhu, Nityam Priya Hiterata. So Rama's beloved consort, right? Sita is a Vishalakshi. Purna Sadrishanana. It's like the face is like a full moon. Purnendu, so Purna Indu Sadrisha. So it's like the full moon. Ramasya Dharma Patni. She calls Surpanaka calls Sita Dharma Patni, like wedded wife by law, Dharma. Bhartuhu, so he is always, she is the darling of Rama. And then Sa Sukeshi Suna Suruhu Surupa Cha Yashasvini Devateva Vanasyasya Rajate Shri Rivapara. So now comes the most glorious description of Sita. Sukeshi, long hair. Suna Suruhu, beautiful nose and thighs. Surupa, good look. Yashasvini, illustrious lady. Then it is like Shri Riva. So she says Sita is like Lakshmi. So what an apt description, right? She knew that this woman was Lakshmi. She says Shri Riva Rajate. She is shining like Lakshmi. This is the kind of description which the enemy gave Rama. You can imagine what kind of a person he was. Tataha Surpanakha Vakyam Shutva Sachivan Anujnaya Karyam Buddhva Janama. So Ravana left all his duties and he started thinking of what to do about the situation. Right? So at this point we see the first description of Pushpaka Vimana, and that description is as follows. Kanchanam Rathamasthaya Kamam Ratna Bhushitam Pishacha Vadane Yuktam Karaihi Kanchana Bhushanaihi. So this chariot, right? So this chariot is Kamagam, so it can go wherever one desires. So definitely it is the Pushpaka Vimana, this is being described. And a bunch of other descriptions are given about how Ravana looked when seated on that Pushpaka Vimana. And now he goes to this person called as Maricha. So actually he goes twice. One when Akampana first met Ravana about the same issue. But this Maricha sent him back saying it's useless to try to go and fight this fellow. He will defeat you any day at any hour. So please go back. And then after that Surpanaka again came raining and he goes back. And now another beautiful description of the nature in Sri Lanka is given. Right? But there are some very interesting things here. So there's coconut trees being described. Then Takkola, Jatyana, which is nutmeg, Jati. Then Aguru is another tree described. Chandananam, sandalwood. Then another very interesting thing for people who are interested in metallurgy or materials. Niryasa Rasamulanam, resins. So the resins were known at that time. Okay, so the trees, even now resin is used for making paper. So at that time these resins were known. Tamalaha is another tree. Marichaha is pepper. So this place was like a, Valmiki says it was like a veritable heaven. With especially with the backwater. So Sindhu Rajasya Anupam, scholars backwater. This was a kind of environment, the beauty of the environment at which Ravana stayed. Tatra Saha Ravana Yasya Shakha Shatayojana Ayataha Megha Iva Nyagrodham Pasya. So Shatayojana Ayataha, it spanned Shatayojana, 100 yojanas. Megha Iva Nyagrodham Pasya. Nyagrodham is what you see in IIT, right? Banyan tree. So you saw a banyan tree which is of whose roots spread for Shatayojana. This is, I think, definitely an exaggeration because Jaṭāyu I calculated it came out around 800 kilometers. Right? So if you calculate it that way, then Sri Lanka's height is Sri Lanka's extent is not 800, right? So it's definitely somewhere it's an exaggeration, or maybe Lanka was not Sri Lanka. We don't know. Okay, but I don't think that is likely. But it's definitely some exaggeration. So another thing which is mentioned is that this huge tree was the tree on which Garuda sat before going to obtain the nectar. And this tree also has a name. Subhadram Namna Tam Nyagrodham Ravana Dadarsha. So Nyagrodha tree called Subhadram. So that was his name. And very interesting, right? So usually you give names only to animals, but here plant is given a name. So this was a kind of respect given by people of that time towards their own environment. That's a lesson we can take away from here. And this is something which we should definitely follow. We should respect our environment, preserve it and protect it. And it was in such a pristine state at that time, and now it is getting destroyed. There is also a description of coral reefs in this exact section. So they were our ancestors. One thing which we can take away is they were very aware of their surroundings. They knew which geography they were a part of. They knew what the plants were and what the animals were, and they knew how to preserve their environment. This is the takeaway from this part. Okay. So then he crossed the ocean. Samudrasya param gatva parantare ekante Marichasya ashramam dadarsha. So it was a lonely ashrama. Alone, it was alone. And Marichasya ashramam. It was ashrama Maricha. Ravana Maricham abravit. So he says, Pitra nirastha kruthena saparya kshina jivitaha sahantakasya sainyasya Rama kshatriya pamsanaha. So he says that Ramaha is a kshatriya pamsanaha, a calumny to kshatriyas. Okay. Saha Ramaha. So by this Rama has killed all the demons. And he is one with Kshina Jivita. Now he is going to have a short lifespan. And you need to help me ensure that Rama has a short lifespan. So Tanicham Sauvarnaha Mrigaha. So like a golden deer. Bhutva Ramasya Ashrame Sitayaha Pramukhe Chara. Sita Mrigarupinam Tvam Drishtva Grihyatam iti Nisamshayam Yachishyati. So she will say that without any doubt, she will want to catch the deer. Tataha Rama Lakshmanayoho Apaye Shunye Sitam Drishyami. No, Rama and Lakshmana will be gone to catch the deer. I will pick up Sita. So Rama Katham Shutva Mahatmanaha Marichasya Vaktram Shushkam Abhavat. So after hearing that Rama is this guy's enemy, his mouth dried up. Because he knew of Rama's valor. And he spends a lot of time trying to convince Ravana that he should not do this. But it was of no avail. So tad vakyai papashilasya murkhasya manushasya ramascha mam samyuge bhotum na shakyam. So this papashilaha, murkhaha, man is just a human being, manushaha. So I will not get defeated by this guy, right? He's an absolute idiot. cannot be in the Samyuga, in the Yuddha, will not be defeated by this guy. Maricha, na karoshi chet, if you do not do this, tvam madhishyami, I will myself kill you if you don't go and do this. Etat shrutva Maricha uvacha, Ramasya darshanat eva, mam hatam, just by seeing Rama I am dead. Sitam shrutva, sabandhavam, tvam hatam. If you take Sita here, with all your bandhava, all your friends, you will also die. That's what he says. Marichaha evam vachanamutva mrigaha bhutva Ramasya ashramadvari prati chalati. Tam mrigam drishtva Sita paramam vismayam jagama. So she became very that adbhuta rasa comes here. They became large-eyed. They see that. Parantu tam mrigam drishtva Lakshmanaha Rama bravit. So this guy was smart. He was not like she was not desirous of gold like Sita. So this guy was very practical. Lakshmanaha Rama bravit. He told Rama, Tvam mrigam marichameva manye Rajan marichaha mayavidaha asya maya mriga rupam kritam. So he has taken this form of a deer and he tells Rama beforehand itself that this guy is definitely Maricha, definitely without a doubt. And he looks like he has taken another form. He is a mayavidaha. He can take any form of his liking. So now Ramayana starts to look like a Tamil serial. Right? So all of these are completely preventable, right? You already know that this guy is a dangerous fellow, but still they don't listen. Right? So Sita didn't use her discretion, and she was completely she lost her senses by looking at that deer, and made Rama go and try to catch this deer. Right? She was so attached to the deer that she didn't use her brain. So then Rama said, I will kill her and come back. So Rama said that, and he went towards the deer. But he was always thinking about what Lakshmana said, right? So he knew, it was in his back of his mind that this is some Rakshasa, not some ordinary deer. Let me not. So Rama tam Raksham drishtva. After seeing that Rakshasa, Lakshmanasya vachanam smaran. He remembered what Lakshmana said. And he kept thinking of Sita, Manasa Sitam Jagama. So he knew that these people were coming up with some devious plan to catch Sita off guard, and he was always thinking about that. And all this is Maya, right? Esha Marichasya Maya. Aham Marichaha Maya. Ayam Marichaha Maya Hataha. So this Maricha has been killed by me. So he fires an arrow and kills Maricha, but still this runs in the back of his mind. There's some Maya going on here. Saha Marichaha. Ha Site, Ha Lakshmana, Ityevam, Mahaswaram Akushya, Mamara. This guy died by saying Ha Site, Ha Lakshmana. Now Sita Katham Bhaved, what will Sita think? And Rama became extremely worried. Right? So then on the other side, Sita Vane, in the forest, Hartuhu to Lakshmana, Padrisham Tam, the husband, right? Seeing her husband in this state, Hartuhu Sadrisham, Tam Swaram Vijnaya, after knowing that this had been said, Lakshmana Muvacha, Gacha, Raghavam Janihi, Tam Bhrataram Kshipram Abhidhava, go towards your brother as fast as possible. I want to know how he is. Lakshmana Sasana Magnyaya Na Jagama, he did not move an inch. Tataha Kupita Janakatmaja, Lakshmana Muvacha. Ichhasi Tvam Vinashyantam. Ramam Lakshmana Makrite Lobha Tvam Makrite Nunam Na Anugachasi Raghavam Lakshmana Tvam Ramam Vinashyantam Makrite Ichhasi. So you want Rama's discussion for the destruction for my sake. Lobha, out of greed. Ramam Na Anugachasi, out of greed for me. And you want Rama to be killed, and that's why you are not going towards him. So definitely this must have been the case. So Sita says these harsh words. And this is considered, this will come later when Agni Pariksha happens, and it is given as reasons where actually Lakshmana is considered the first among Rama Bhaktas, and it's considered a Bhagavata. So Sita, this verse, it is considered that she did a Bhagavata Pacharam towards Lakshmana. That she doubted the pure qualities of Lakshmana and thought that he was actually interested in her when he clearly was not. So after hearing this, Lakshmana had no other choice. And he was extreme. He had to go and go towards Rama. So then after that, when Lakshmana went towards Rama. At the exact same time, Ravana came on the face of a Brahmana towards to Sita's ashram. And he says, Ravana uvacha, aham Raksho Ganeshwara, Ravano Namanjaneshwara, known by Ravana, known as Ravana. Anindite, O flawless woman, Mama Agramahishi Bhava, Te Bhadram. Now be my Agramahishi, be my first wife. I'll forget all my other wives. I'll have you as my first wife. Te Bhadram, may good things happen to you. Ravanena eva muktva Janakatmaja Sita Tam Rakshasam Anadritya Uvacha. Without caring about the presence of this idiot, said Uvacha Purna Chandranam Ramam Rajavatsam Jitendriyam Prithukatim Mahatmanam Aham Ramam Advrata Tvam Punarjambuka Chasisu Durlabham Naham Shakyapayas Prashtum Prabhayatha. So he says Jambukaha Tvam. And you want a lioness like me who is difficult to win. I am like the sun's radiance whom you cannot even touch. Right? So this is how confident Sita was when faced in this situation. Right? People call a lot of social sort of views that Sita was one dainty, weak woman who could not do anything, and she had to rely on Rama to do everything. But in the face of such a situation, she has such self-confidence. Right? Even Barbie doesn't have such self-confidence. Such self-confidence she has. Okay. Then etat vachanam shrutva saha Ravanaha Maithilim abravit Vararoke, O beautiful woman, Trishu lokeshu vikhyatam bhartaram ichhasi yadi mam ashraya aham tava sadrishaha patihi. So I am the fit husband for you. And I am famous among all the three lokas. Trishu lokeshu vikhyatam, famous among all the three lokas. Rakshasaha Ravanaha ityuktva Sitam jagraha atha कामार्थः सह रावणः पन्नगेन्द्रव भूम इव. So पन्नगेन्द्र वधूम इव, like the serpent king. ताम आदाय उत्पाद. So he just took Sita like a serpent king and flew. Okay? So सा Sita मत्तेव उवाच. So now Sita was like very she became mad, right? Matteva. She started dissuading Ravana to take her and go. And then it's a very interesting sort of differences come up between, she tries to compare Ravana and Rama. So the first thing is Jakal and Nayan, which I already said. And she also says difference, Rama is like the sea and you are like a ditch. And the final one is a complete banger. She says Rama is like Surapanam, fine wine. And you are like, if you are sick, right, you have that kanji. So you are like that kanji. So this is what she said. So another very common thing in Sanskrita texts is that anytime you are sad or depressed, you start talking to inanimate objects. This is something which is very common. It is there in Meghaduta, it is there in multiple places here. So she starts talking to all these inanimate objects. So Malyavantam Prasravanam Girim Vande Ravana Sitam Harati Iti Tvam Kshipram Ramaya Shamsa. So he tells this Malyavanta, some sort of mountain. She goes and tells this mountain to please Kshipram, tell quickly that go and tell Rama that I have been carried away by Rama. Sa Sudukkhita Vanaspati Gatam Gridham Tadarsha. In this sad state, she saw this vulture. Right? So Sa Sudukkhita Vanaspati Gatam Gridham. Gridham is a vulture. Tadarsha. Sa tam drishtva dukkhopahataya bhayapara samakrandat. So she screamed with sorrow. Dukkhopahataya Jaṭāyu tam shabdam sushkare. So that vulture was none other than Jaṭāyu. Having heard those words, saha kshipram vaidehim dadarsha. So he went immediately towards Sita. Tataha Sriman Khagotamaha Jaṭāyu Subham Shabdam Vyajahara. So he said this following nice words to Ravana. Tasagriva sthito dharme Purane satya samsrayah Jaṭāyurnama namnaham
वृद्धराजो महाबलः तं दृष्ट्वा गिरिशृङ्गाभं रामो लक्ष्मणम् अब्रवीत् अनेन सीता वै देही भक्षिता नात्र संशयः. Okay, so दशग्रीव स्थितो दशग्रीव अहं महाबलः वृद्धराजः. So I am the king of cultures and I am known by Jaṭāyu namna. I am known by Jaṭāyu, the name of Jaṭāyu, and I am an eternal follower of Dharma. I am adherent to truth. Right, so this is what he tells Ravana. Jaṭāyusha iti uktasya Ravanasya sarvavinshati drishtayah Agni Nibaha Rejuhu. All the 20 eyes of Ravana glowed like the fire. Agni Nibaha Rejuhu. All the 20 eyes glowed. Tatah saha kopat Jaṭāyu abhidudrava. So he leaped towards Jaṭāyu in anger. Kopat abhidudrava. Leaped in anger. Tatah Mahabala Ravanah Mahagoraihi Vikarnibihi Rudhrarajam Prati Abhyavarshat. So he rained, this Ravana rained a lot of kinds of very dangerous weapons towards this Jaṭāyu. Jaṭāyu Tikshna Nakhabhyam, so with his very sharp claws, Charanabhyam, with his feet, Ravanasya Gatre Bahudha Vranan Chakara. So he made a lot of wounds in Ravana just by using his claws and feet. Tatah Ravana Krodha Murchitah Satah Sahasrasah Saravarshani Pavarsha. So again a lot of rain, the rain of arrows again and again comes. With a lot of anger, he released hundreds and thousands of arrows. Mahatejaha Jaṭāyuhu Ravanasya Mahadhanu Charanabhyam Bhavanja. He destroyed that bow which gave all these arrows, which is again his feet. It is Bhavanja, destroyed. Punaha Mahabalaha Pakshirajah Ravanasya Sarathehe Shiram Bhavanja. He cut off the head of the Sarathi who was driving the Pushpaka Vimana. Tatah Saha Ravana Khadgasya Jaṭāyoho Pakshau Chapado Achinat. So finally, after all this battle, Ravana with an arrow, with the sword, cut off the wings and the feet of Jaṭāyu. And after seeing this, Janakatmaja Sita Tam Nipatitam Drishtva Punaha Ruroda, again started crying. Now one more important thing which comes here is that a lot of people think that Ravana took Sita in the Pushpaka Vimana and reached Lanka in the same Pushpaka Vimana, but that is not true. Because Jaṭāyu killed the chariot here, and it also mentioned that Jaṭāyu destroyed the wheels of the chariot just by his again legs or wings. So now Ravana is without a chariot, and the last fighting scene which happens, right, with the sword, that happens when Ravana holds Sita with his left hand and kills Jaṭāyu with his right hand. So clearly he has lost his chariot, and the chariot no longer plays a role in Ravana carrying Sita to Lanka. And now the way Ravana carries Sita is just because Rakshasas can themselves fly, right? So the chariot is no longer present, and Ravana just flies with Sita in her left hand towards Lanka. So this is a clarification. A lot of people think that, even I thought before reading this, that the Pushpaka Vimana was dead road, but the Pushpaka Vimana was destroyed by Jaṭāyu. So after Sita was continuously crying after seeing Jaṭāyu get killed in this fashion. Tatah Vaidehi Girishringe Pancha Vanara Pungavan Dadarsha. As Ravana was carrying Sita in this fashion, on the top of a hill, she saw five monkeys. Vishalakshi Tasya Kausheyam. Now another sort of misconception that Sita wore nothing but some very poor woman's dress. No, she actually wore silk, Kausheyam, and she dropped that silk there. Uttariyam Tesham Madhye Mumocha. She dropped that silk among these monkeys. And she also dropped all her ornaments. Right? But we may think that why didn't Ravana see this? Saha Dasagrivaha Sambhramat Tat Karma Na Buddhavan. Just by excitement, he then failed to see what Sita was doing behind his back. Tada, okay, so after seeing Ravana flying through the air, Antarikshagataha, Charanaha are some bards. Dasagrivaha, Etadantaha, Iti Vachaha Bhuvan. So he says that you are going to, this is the end of you. Right? All the people who see him say that you are going to die. Yes, everybody, right from Maricha, everybody is saying that you are going to die. But he never listens. And doesn't even look at Sita, right? He's excited about make this new toy, right? Okay. So Ravana, so basically then Ravana takes her to Lanka and he takes her through the streets of Lanka and finally reaches the palace. And an important thing which happens here is that Sita, when Ravana talks to Sita, she keeps a blade of grass between her and Ravana, saying that you cannot cross this. It's my chastity won't be ruined by you, and this is like an indicator of that the distance between me and you. Right, so then all this has happened, and Rama meanwhile goes back to the ashrama to see that Sita is not there. Dharmatma Rama, Lakshmanam Vaidehim Vina Adatam Dushtva. So first he sees Lakshmana coming without Sita, and he asks Richard, Sa Vaidehi Kva, where is Vaidehi? Sitam Vane Utsrujata Kashtam Kritam Rakshasaha Ghoraihi Sita Nihatya Na Samshaya. Without any doubt, this Rakshasas would have carried her, eaten her. She actually thought that Rakshasas had eaten her. Etadukva Raghavaha Sita Meva Chintayan Tvaraya Janasthanam Ajagama. And by the time they go back to Janasthana, the story comes out that Sita actually said that those harsh words to Lakshmana, and that is why Lakshmana had to come out. And while they go back, all the bad omens were seen. In the forest, every sort of bad omen was seen. And when Rama goes back to the ashrama, surprise, Sita was not there. And then again you see the same thing, right? When anybody is depressed, you go around thinking that you lose the sense of which objects are animate and which objects are inanimate. So that is a very common trait of depressed people apparently. And they go and so Rama runs around the forest everywhere. And again, in this one more place where the ecology of the place is described. Right? So in 5 or 6 continuous verses, he goes first asks the Kadampa tree, then he asks the Bilva tree, then he asks the Arjuna tree, Ashoka tree, Tala tree, Jambu tree. All these trees he goes and asks the same question: have you seen Sita? Have you seen Sita somewhere? Right? All this he thinks that these trees are all humans, and goes and asks these trees whether they have seen Sita. Then he goes and asks Mrigaha, Gaja is Mriga is deer, Gaja is elephant, Shardula is lion, tiger. All these people are all these animals also he goes and asks, right, where is Sita, where is Sita? And then he gets more and more agitated, and then he gets extremely depressed and says, Tataha Rama Uvacha, Tatha Rupam Priyam Vaidekim Na Dasyanti Yadi Sarvam Sacharacharam Trailokyam Jagat Asayami. Gets into he becomes, he loses his emotions, right? He loses his mind. And unless I get Sita back, the same form at which I lost her, Sarvam Sacharacharam Nashayami, I will destroy the entire 3 worlds with my arrows. So this is again, I am become death, right? Destroyer of the 3 worlds. Basically, this is what happens. And yeah. So now the thing is, one thing is that one thing I would like to mention here is that even Rama was human. Right? It's okay to be human. It's okay that if you anger issues are normal. Rama had anger issues very clearly. But the important thing is have somebody around you who is calm. Right? When you are angry, that person should be calm. When that person is angry, you should be the one who is calm and taking them in the right direction. And luckily, Rama had his brother who was Lakshmana. So after seeing Rama in this angry state, Samkruddham Ramam Dushtva, Lakshmana had Pranjalihi Abravit. So he spoke very softly to Rama. He knew that now you have Pura Mruduku Sarvabhuta Hitaha. So before you are known as Sarvabhuta Hitaha, it comes even in the first few lines of the Ramayana. Sarvabhuteya Shuko Hitaha it comes. So So before you are the Sarva Bhuta Hitana, you wished well for all the Bhutas. What happened to that character of yours? Krodhavaram Prakritim Hatum Na Arhasi. Just because you are angry, you cannot give up your true Swabhava, which is of you being a Sarva Bhuta Hitaha. So he says, this is your character, anger cannot make you lose this character, and thus tries to convince Rama that doing something like this, right, killing everyone just because one idiot took his wife, is not very apt for his own character. Etat Shrutva Ramah Lakshmanena Saha Tam Vanam Vichachara. So they are, after hearing this, Rama becomes a little bit calmer, and they all go around and again explore the forest if there is any sign of Sita. So now they see Saha Yamaha Vijottamam Bhumau Patitam Dadarsha. So Saha Ramaha Vijottamam Bhumau Patitam Dadarsha. So he saw Vijottamam. Vija is another, Vija is a bird here. So Vija Uttama, that is the Jaṭāyu Mokṣam. He had fallen on the ground, and Rama had seen this particular Jaṭāyu. And then, to everyone's surprise, Rama says this. Ramo Lakshmanam Abravit Ane Nasi Bhakshita Natra Samsaya. So after looking at this Jaṭāyu, he says that he says to Lakshmana, right? Vaidehi Bhakshita Atra Samsaya. This guy only would have eaten, this Jaṭāyu only would have eaten Sita, and there is no doubt about it. Gridha Rupam Idam Raksho Yurtam Bhavati Kanane Bhakshayitva Vishalakshim Aste Sitam Yathasukam Yenam Bhavishye Deeptasyehi Ghorabanai Ajit Hamagaihi, something like that. So he says that, well, this guy only would have eaten up Sita. Immediately towards this Gridha Rupa, this Jaṭāyu, he wanted to fire an arrow immediately. And then after that, Jaṭāyu says that, Jaṭāyu saw this happening, and he says, no, I cannot eat Sita. And he says one very important line. Okay. Okay, it says Dashagriva Chito. So first he says, okay. So the thing is, first he says the word Ayushman. So the why he says this word Ayushman is that although he is weak and he is about to die, he first says this word Ayushman because it is said that after seeing Rama, right, whatever state you are in, whether you are going to die or whether you are anybody else, you will first be enamored by his beauty and his stature. That's why he says, long live O Rama. That's the first thing he says. Right? And then only he says the other thing. I don't know why I messed up that shloka. So that it's a very important shloka. But he first says that you are Ayushman.
Yam Oshadhiniva Ayushman.
It says Yam Oshadhiniva Ayushman. So that shloka is particularly important here in the sense that so even if someone is dying, they will look up to Rama. We will first look at the beauty of Rama first. So then he says, Dasagriva Sito Dhamme Purane Satya Samshraya Jaṭāyu Nama. Okay, this is okay. It's here. Yamoshadhiniva Ayushman Nandeshasi Mahavane Sadevi Mamacha Prana Ravane no Bhayam Hatam. It's so long lived one, Ayushman. Yamoshadhiniva Ayushman. So it's like Oshadhiniva Sadevi. So like herbal medicine that you see, that Devi, that queen, Ravanena Hatam. So this Ravana has taken her away, and he has also killed me. So this demon in the guise of a vulture, okay, first he feels that this Jaṭāyu was the one who killed Sita, but after hearing this, he realized that, okay, he was actually mistaken in his assumption, and immediately went and hugged Jaṭāyu. Right, so, I mean, how quickly the story could have been very different. Had Jaṭāyu face was facing the other side, Rama would have just shot an arrow and killed him. Rama would have been the biggest villain on earth. But, however good however good a person, that little bit of luck to go, and that comes in these two verses, which I don't know why are fairly cryptic in nature. So I just read it out. Yagati yajnashilana ahitagneshta yagatihi aparavartinam yacha bhumi pradayinam mayatvam samanudhyato tachalokan uttaman vridha raja mahasatva samskritascha mayabraja. So only in these two slokas, so all the commentators have written paragraphs only for these two slokas. And meanwhile, Valmiki writes 6 slokas about 6 different ways to whom Rama cries. But this important thing is written only in 2 slokas. If I, for whatever reason, but I still respect Valmiki for that. Okay. But so the meaning here is that Mahasattva Vridha Raja. Now there are a lot of incorrect translations also which I found out today. So I'll try to give some sort of a correct meaning to what this actually means. So there are a few words being displayed here. One is Yajna Shilanam Ahitagnescha. So Ahitagnis, I think, are some people who are those people who so they the fire in which they are married, right? So the marriage fire, they keep it burning till the time they die, and then they are cremated in the same fire. So they are what are called as ahitagnehe. I mean something very some particular kind of people. It's written of those who keep 5 fires burning around them. So they are supposed to cook food in the same fire and offer that as yajna to the same fire itself. So they are considered very people of very high stature, and Rama says that you will be going to a place where such people go to. And again says Bhumi Pradayina. Now for some reason one translation says Bhumi Pradayina is for those who offer land in charity. I don't know from where they got this meaning. So anyone who offers land in charity will go to Vaikuntham, but that is obviously not the case. And Bhumi Pradayinam actually means those who gave up earthly comforts. So whoever gives up all the earthly comforts, you will go to the same state as those such people. And then he says one more thing. Aparavartinam. So Aparavartinam, again in one translation it says Aparavartinam is of those who beat no retreat from battle. But again there is it's not doesn't make much sense, right? Because the actual correct meaning of Aparavartinam is that of those who never return. So it says of that place you will go and you will not come back. It's only this Aparavartinam kind of clarifies that this actually is a place where you attain moksha, not other loka where you will again be born. If this Aparavartinam is not there, I will be telling you that Jaṭāyu didn't attain moksha and Jaṭāyu attained Brahma loka or something like that. But since Aparavartinam is mentioned, it is beyond doubt that he attained moksha. And some of the commentaries even cite the sources like the Padma Purana, that loka is Vishnoho lokaha. So that is also another evidence that it could possibly be Vishnu lokaha. But only what Valmiki says is Anuttaman lokan. So he says without any comparison, that loka without any comparison. Now if you look at the lokas which we traditionally know, this it is like it comes in Sandhya Vandana also. Bhulokaha, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Right? These are the 7 lokas above, and we don't have to worry about what is below. Okay, so these 7 lokas are above, and some interpretations also claim that we went to Satya Loka. Right? That is the highest among these 7 lokas. There's a bunch of controversy about this, whether this Satya Loka or Brahma Loka is Vaikuntham or not, and there's a lot of discussion. There's one blog written by folks at ISKCON who say that, well, Brahma Loka could possibly be the same as Vaikuntham, but there is a very subtle difference and so on. And that Brahma Loka is a place where it's on the path to attain that Supreme Personality of Godhead, and so that is what is mentioned in one of the posts I read in ISKCON. But nevertheless, we can say that since this word Aparavartinam exists, where there is no return, definitely you attained that state where there's no coming back. And another important thing here is that how does Rama send him to that? Okay. So one thing is that Jaṭāyu, by his actions, is already capable of attaining such a state. So what is the role of Rama here? Rama does the what is in Hindi antim samskara, right? So he does that samskara to Jaṭāyu, and the samskara, the type of samskara he does is what is known as Brahma Medha samskara. So this samskara is done to people who have who are like excellent in the sense that they have done a lot of tapas and they are very extremely capable people. And for such people only this samskara is done. And Rama does this particular kind of samskara to Jaṭāyu. And again, there is a lot of questions which one can ask here. Like one question is that in non-human birds there is no karma. Right? So how can Rama do such an act to one bird which does not have any karma phala at all? And one such explanation given which IITs came across is that in this particular yuga there are a lot of such characters who are which are humans in the form of animals. So it is said in one place that Hanuman knew the Vedas and he chanted 3 of the Vedas or something like that is given. Bali did Sandhya Vandanam, something Dwarakesh told me. So all these people were not just animals with no karma phala, right? If you do all this, definitely you have karma and you have karma phala. So it is apt that Rama did this sanskaram to Jaṭāyu, who actually sacrificed his own life for Rama's good. And Jaṭāyu attained. This is where it's out of compassion. He does this samskara to Jaṭāyu after having seen Jaṭāyu sacrifice his life for Rama. And the last thing which I would like to say is that after this he also did what is known as Pinda Pradhanam. So what this, if you read the Valmiki Ramayana, it just says Rama shot a big fat deer, made it into balls and put it. What does that mean? So that is another ritual which we do for people who are deceased. That is called Pinda Pradhanam. And one interpretation which Dwarakesh gave when I was talking to him is that the reason why a deer is chosen and a ball of meat is given as pindam is the fact that Jaṭāyu is actually a vulture, and the staple food of vultures is animals. This pindam of deer was actually given. And after this, after this Jaṭāyu Mokṣam, we will see tomorrow about Rama going and meeting Sabari and 2 other people before that. But I will just end by saying that eventually Rama will meet Sabari and will stay at a Bhakta's house. Let's end on that happy note and not end on this note where all the moksha is something you should be happy about, but not this definitely. Okay. So we will end on that. We will end on that note where Rama actually goes and stays at Sabari's residence. So we will chant the Mangala Shlokas. Just pull it up. गोब्राह्मणेभ्यस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी रसोऽयं शोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतं चरितं रघुनाथस्य शतकोटि प्रविस्तरम् एकैकमक्षरं प्रोक्तं महापातकनाशनं शृण्वन् रामायणं भक्त्या यः पादं पदमेव वा ब्रह्मणस्थानं ब्रह्मणा पूज्यते सदा रामाय रामभद्राय भद्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः यन्मण्डलं सहस्राक्षे सर्वदेव नमस्कृते वृत्रनाशे समभवत् तत्ते भवतु मङ्गलं यन्मङ्गलं सुपर्णस्य विनताकल्पैकपुरा अमृतं प्रार्थनानस्य तत्ते भवतु मङ्गलम् अमृतोत्पादने दैत्यान् घ्नतो वज्रधरस्य यत् अदितिर्मङ्गलं प्रादात् तत्ते भवतु मङ्गलं त्रीन् विक्रमान् प्रक्रम तो विष्णोर् अमिततेजसः यदासीन्मङ्गलं राम तत्ते भवतु मङ्गलं ऋतवस्सागरादीप दिशश्च ते मङ्गलानि महाबाहो दिशन्तु तव सर्वदा कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायति समर्पयामि।
Kindly request Professor Kaushik to honor the speaker.
That was very nice.
I request Sir to speak a few words.
Actually, very, very nice. I'm very fortunate to come here and share some. So, so just maybe a few points at that. So, for example, this one, right? So Ravana kidnapped Sita, and as you were saying, he was actually taking her in his arms only. So there is a question that how come Sita? So what is the identity of Sita, and what is identity of Rama, Lord Rama? So Lord Rama is Param Brahma, right? He is the supreme Brahma. Real Brahma, but he is the supreme Brahma. So he is the origin of everything. So how and who is Sita Devi? Sita Devi is the spiritual energy of Lord Rama. So spiritual. So there are three energies of the Lord. So in Vishnu Purana it is there. So one is Antaranga, Bahiranga, and then one has marginal energy. So Antaranga energy is Sita Devi. For Lord Rama it is Sita Devi. So she is the Antaranga, and so Antaranga means completely beyond the three modes. Bahiranga is the three modes, Sattva, Raja, and Tamas. But Antaranga means completely spiritual energy. So somebody in material gunas cannot touch the spiritual energy. So Ravana is in Tamoguna. So how can he then see or touch something which is spiritual energy? So this is the question we should ask. So does anyone know how? So actually in Chaitanya Charitamrita, so when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was traveling in the south, so he came to Madurai. So at that place, one Brahmana Vaishnava, so actually he was a great devotee of Lord Rama. So he invited him for prasadam. So he went to his house. So around 2 p.m. he went, and then also the Brahmana has not cooked anything. So he asked, how come you have not even prepared something? So he then said that Lakshmana has gone out to bring some raw items, vegetables, and when he comes, then I will cook. Then Sita will cook. So he was completely in the mood of, like he was in Ramayana only. So he was thinking that Lakshmana will bring and Sita will cook. So somehow after that, after some time, he cooked also. Then he served prasadam to Mahaprabhu also. But then he was very sad and he was not taking prasadam. So then Mahaprabhu asked, why you are so sad? Why you are not taking prasadam? So then he said that I am very, very sad, thinking that how come Ravana can see, touch Sita Devi? When Sita Devi is the spiritual energy of Lord Rama, how can he, somebody who is in Tamoguna, can even touch something which is beyond all gunas? So, and he was very sad. So Mahaprabhu then said that Sita that Ravana took is Maya Sita, not the real Sita. So that's what he said. And then that convinced him somewhat. And then Mahaprabhu left, he came to Rameshwaram. So So in Rameshwaram, he came to a place where many Brahmanas were discussing, and they were discussing exactly the same topic from Kurma Puran. So in Kurma Puran, it is written that the Lord Rama, actually he asked Sita Devi to take shelter of Agnidev. And before Ravana comes, Sita Devi took shelter of Agnidev. Agnidev then gave this Maya Sita. And then Ravana took actually Maya Sita. And during the Agni Pariksha after the war, so when Sita Devi entered, it is actually Maya Sita entered, and who come out is the real Sita. So Ravana never took real Sita. He only took Maya Sita. This is there in Kurma Puran. So this scriptures, the discussion, when Mahaprabhu again went back just to inform that Ram Bhakta in Madurai, that don't worry, it is actually there in the Puranas, it is there in Kurma Purana. So this clearly says it was not Ravana only took Maya Sita, not the real Sita. And actually this Maya Sita is also called as Vedavati. So if you go in Tirumala, so there is this Vedavati. Actually Ravana took Vedavati. But she also is she is also spiritual, and she is also spiritual. And she wanted to marry Rama, but since Rama said I will only marry one wife, so that's why Balaji came and married. So this is the connection. So actually Ravana never took real Sita. He took only Maya Sita. So which is illusory Sita. Second thing is so when Sita was kidnapped, then Ravana, so Rama knows everything, right? He is God. So he knows everything. Whatever is going to happen, he knows everything. So he knows everything. It is not that he doesn't know. So he knew that this is Marichi. He knew that Ravana is going to come. He knows that Ravana will kidnap him. Everything he knows. But then, so there are two things, right? One is that he is acting in his role. So it's like a drama. So he is the Lord himself. And he is for our, so basically why he does all this lila. So this lila is to actually to act towards him. So actually the Lord says there are, so for example in Bhagavad Gita, Lord says there are reasons for him to come, for coming here, right? He says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya duskritam karma samsarana. So three reasons he gives. So I come to protect my devotees, annihilate the miscreants, and third is to establish Dharma. But actually this is, like Acharya says, this is secondary reason. More primary reason is that he wants to attract everyone towards him. And for that only he does lila which are like humans. So though he is the Lord himself, but he will do lila which are like human-like lila, which will attract humans. And it will impel us to do devotion and go back to him. So it is his only plan is to take us back to Vaikuntha. And all this pastime he creates just that we become attracted to those pastimes and then go back. So otherwise he knows everything, but he's acting like a human, especially in Rama Avatar. So he is Maryada Purushottam. He will not do anything which is beyond Vedas. So Ved Maryada he will follow. And so he's setting the ideal example of how an ideal human being should be. So that's why he's doing human-like lila. So when Sita is kidnapped, so he acts as the person will. Of course, he is acting in a much higher plane because he is Purushottam, Maryada Purushottam. So it's like somebody's beloved. Right? I mean, ideal, like Lord Rama is Lord himself. So for example, Naranarayan Rishi, right? So when he went to, like, so basically Naranarayan was doing tapasya. Indra said that break your tapasya. So he sent Kamdev. Kamdev took many apsaras to somehow break the tapasya. Naranarayan Rishi then created many other apsaras who were even more beautiful and said to him, take them to Indra. And so it's like Lord Rama could produce many Sitas if he wanted. But he was acting like that as an ideal human being who has vowed to have only one wife. So he was acting like that. He was acting like, so as if it's mad and he's asking everyone. So that is the reason. So it is part of his Leela. So actually what happens is, there is a mention also that once Lord Shiva and Sati Devi, they were there around that time. So Lord Shiva seeing Lord Rama like this, like a madman, he just said, my pranam to you, who is the Parabrahma, like Lord Shiva is. So Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yathasam. So in Bhagavatam it is said, of all Vaishnavas, Lord Shiva is the best of all. So he prayed to Lord Rama, saying that you are the Param. But Sati Devi doubted it. But how can this king, I mean, this son of a king, who is crying like a mad person, can be Param Brahma? Param is supposed to know everything. How can he act like this? So, but Lord Shiva said, no, he is Lord Rama, he is Param Brahma. Like that he said, but Sati Devi was not convinced. Then Lord Shiva said, okay, if you want, you can go and test me. So then Sati Devi, she went and she took the form of Sita. And Lord Rama was crying like anything, he was asking everyone, where is Sita, where is Sita? But the moment he saw Sati Devi, who looks like Sita, exactly like Sita, he said, my obeisances to you, O mother, where is your husband, where is Lord Shiva? So he knew everything, he knows everything. But he acts in that particular, so he is acting in that. So there are also this Tattva Vichar and Rasa Vichar. So Tattva Vichar means he is the Lord himself, he knows everything. Rasa Vichar means he is in the mellows, he is acting in that. So at that time, he basically will keep the Tattva Vichar on the back side. And he will completely go in the pastime. So he goes in that pastime where he lost his most beloved wife and he is trying like a madman. But actually he knows that, he is in that mood, so he's not forgetting, but that Aishwarya Bhava is in his backside. So, but he is acting like the Madhurya Bhava, this particular sweet pastime where, so it basically inspires us that how Lord Ram likes his devotees. So Lord Sita is also one of his devotees. So how much he loves his devotee that he has forgotten his godhood and he is running like a madman. So this inspires other devotees to take to devotion. That how much reciprocation, how much love he has for his own devotees that he has become completely mad. So this is actually the pastime. These are his. So though he is God himself, he knows everything, but still he acts like this. Especially in Ramakrishna, he acts like a human being. So that first of all, he can set ideal example. Secondly, he shows that how much he loves his own devotee, that he has become mad in their separation. So these are the two things. So one is Sita Devi, Lord Ravana did not take Sita Devi. This is there in Purna. It took only Mahashika because a person in Karmoguna can't have any access to the spiritual energy of the Lord. So it is impossible. So he only took Mahashika. That also he couldn't touch properly. And second thing is the Lord is always the Lord. He knows everything. But sometimes he is acting as a human. He is in a different rasa, in a different mood. So his Lordship, he keeps it on the back of his head. He doesn't bring it always. And especially these leelas are there so that he attracts us. So how he loved his wife, this will attract us. How he loved his devotee. That for just that devotee, he could have produced thousands of Sitas. But for one Sita, he crossed all the ocean and did all these things. So it shows how much we are supposed to even one devotee. So this is so he's always the Lord himself, but for pastime's sake, he acts like that. Yeah, but very, very nice that you are doing this. Plus non-Ramayana. So you're covering the whole Ramayana.
Yes. Today we have 4 more days.
Okay. So Valmiki Ramayana, then you are...
All Valmiki Ramayana is the base. All the references from what the Ramayana we know and we know.
Okay. For example, which is the
Ramayana, Deshikas, Raghavira Gadyam.
But the slokas is from...
Shlokas from Valmiki. Predominantly Valmiki.
But you select, right? Not everything because you cannot cover.
At least everything takes one. It came yesterday.